Greetings, English 1301 onliners. Welcome to week 2 of our summer session. This week I'm actually going to provide a little bit more detailed information about the next 2 weeks roughly of class, or at least through module number 2, just because with the time and pacing of a summer session, I realized that it may be more helpful for some of you to have the due dates translated over to specific dates now. I apologize for the lack of that clarity and all, perhaps on with the first unit. I'm kind of used to doing these courses and all during longer semesters, so there's a little more time between due dates and whatnot. But anyhow, we'll rectify it starting now. So first things first, let's look at the announcement page. It will have a video link attached to it in a moment whenever I send it out to all of you. But basically, what we have are the details for this week and going into next week, about halfway through it. So this week, peer revisions are taking place through approximately 7 a.m. on Tuesday morning. If you're a little bit later than 7 a.m., that's fine. I teach a morning class at the Northwest campus from about 8 o'clock in the morning until 10, and I don't actually plan on shutting down the peer revision boards until probably closer to noon that day. I know I said 7 a.m., and it says it there, but I think noon will probably be a little more feasible. I do know some of you were emailing me and let me know that you had drafts and all that you couldn't submit just yet. If you were in a situation where you can't submit drafts, I'm actually kind of flexible with them not going in immediately once in the course. That should be the only time it happens. But you need to use the contact tools within the peer revision section to let your peers know that your essay is going to be a day or so late. It gives them a chance to be able to properly adjust their own schedules. 2, final drafts of essay number 1 are due Wednesday. Wednesday is a fairly long day. You have till the end of the day on Wednesday, so whenever the clock reads Thursday, it's too late. I need those essays as soon as possible. I plan to sit down on Thursday and do the evaluations for the essays for Module 1 so that I can have your feedback to you before we get into the weekend, into the peer revisions of paper number 2. That'll allow you to apply my suggestions for paper 1 to paper 2, do your advanced revisions, earn the higher score. Makes for a little more comfortable situation. As soon as you're done with the Module 1 materials, you've peer revised as much as you can, or you're in a spot where you feel kind of, stuck, go ahead and move into Module 2. I'm going to look at Module 2 here in a moment in this presentation. Module 2's main dates that we're going to focus on is we're going to peer revise starting at 10 a.m. on the 23rd, this week from the day, and we're going to continue through 2 p.m. on the 25th. It gives you a little bit more time to be able to get that done. Then, the final draft of the evaluation essay will be due on the 26th. That's again Wednesday. It's due anytime throughout Wednesday. The plan is again Thursday to be able to offer feedback and commentary to you so that you can apply to peer revisions that you'll do for the second essay. So, for the third essay. So now let's look at the modules for module number 2. Module number 2 is probably one of my more enjoyed essays because it focuses on evaluations. But I'm not just going to ask you to write any evaluation. I want you to create an evaluation for an employee. I don't know, I could probably make it videos or products or things like that, and I've done that in the past, but those are coming later. Those require secondary resources, and I don't want secondary resources to us. Still want you to master your own voice. So what we've got is this evaluation component that allows you to see how to actually evaluate essays. It's a video that another company put together. I pulled it to be able to use it for my class as a piece that we can look at critically as an example of an evaluation style process. One of the things I want you to pay very close attention to is the fact that in the evaluations, the employers make certain that the reasons that they actually terminate somebody are justified through concrete evidence. You have to understand, you can't fire somebody just because you choose to. In many cases, there are certain circumstances where they can do things that you can fire them on the spot, but in many cases, employers, especially with HR departments and legal representatives, will want you to build up a case as best as you can to show that the employee has failed to comply with company policies. You've done everything within your power to take care of it. And once you have that type of information, when you fire them, you can go to the unemployment benefits office and basically say, look, here's why this person's terminated. It wasn't for anything other than the fact of gross negligence and failure to comply. And at times you can actually get it so that you don't have to pay the employee to not work for you anymore. Additionally, do make certain it can't be petty things. It can't be things that you wear you're firing because you don't like how they look. Technically, that happens, but we don't call it that. You pick something else to pick on. And we're going to avoid that altogether. Once you get done with the video, you can look at the prompt for the evaluation essay. And all it does is set us up the fact that you're the manager of a department and your boss wants you to either promote or fire somebody that's beneath you. And there's no middle ground. You have to argue one way or the other. Bosses in this situation will not really care so much about the details that are in the body paragraphs that you do still have to create and all as if they did. They're going to be focused on the introduction. Imagine that you see them on the elevator. That's when they're going to want to know in about 30 seconds. Are we promoting this person or are we firing them? So that information needs to be in your introduction. This is not a time to hide information until later on in the process. Then you'll develop your paragraphs where you're going to focus on the qualities and all that make the employee promotable or proper for termination. You're going to document several different occurrences where they've exhibited these types of skills or talents or whatever you're using as a criteria to move them forward. And that's going to be the structure of your essay. As you can see, once again, another essay with 100 points. It breaks down the point components over here on the side. I'm still having linked met, peer revisions, and papers submitted on time as components to be able to get a grade. And yes, there's a sample here from a student from a past course. Something else you're going to notice is something called the self-reflection. You can't write the self-reflection yet. Do not use this area of Module 2 until I assign it for you. And it will not be time to do this area of Module 2 until probably early next week. So just leave this one alone. It's one of the quiz grades that we have for the course. We'll get to that when we're ready. Focus your attention on this area and this one, and that should take care of you for the week. Finally, I've had some people asking about the peer revision modules, whether they've got to actually tune back in or do anything else like that. I don't know if I've got the exact same view component as all of you. I've mentioned that before, but I'm going to go into the discussion board. Sorry, let's do that take a minute thing. So let me hit return. Hold it still. Okay, 4 times the charm. Maybe. There we go. All right, so I'm going to this. And then I'm going to go into 4 so I don't confuse this particular group, but I'm going to just kind of show you what I would have done with it if it were me. Let's say I replied to it. So really, you don't have too much you can really do to these sections here. You'll post your information into it, and then essentially once you get to the point that you've posted it in there, you're just going to have to check in on it every so often. It's not like it really requires you to go that far into the process to see what's going on. But yes, you're going to look back at it just to see if people are posting to it, if comments have made, things like that. With the peer revisions, please note, just posting a peer revision comment and all is not really getting the most out of the process. If you see something one of your peers is suggesting, you don't understand it, talk about it. Discuss it. Have a conversation. If you see something within your peer's essay, ask the question, why did you intend to say this? Or did you intend to do that? You can make it into a conversation even though you're not physically in front of one another so that you can speak to each other. So just a couple of tips as you're working through your peer revisions. You've got a pretty good amount of marching orders in all for the week. I will be programming and getting the grade book up and going as soon as essay number 1 is evaluated. Actually, probably just before that. And by the end of the week, you'll have your first set of grades. So if you have any questions, as always, please contact me via the MyTCC email, and I'll happily answer those. Other than that, I hope that everything's going well, and continue your success in English 1301 online. Thank you.